Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
come on in and let's do life.
Jason, I have a little surprise for you.
What is it?
Well, in this episode, you think we're going to talk about motivation versus commitment. We're not.
What are we going to talk about?
I am going to do a little surprise episode because it seems totally fitting to talk about this since we're on the heels of it, coming off of it. I don't know. But I want to talk about my blood disease. That's
all right.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
No, not the same at all. We're doing a little pivot. You probably maybe didn't even know I have a blood disease. Chances are you don't know because it's not a thing that I talk about that much. I mean, it's not a secret. I'll talk about it all day long, but I don't know. I just don't really lead with it. If you don't know me intimately, then you probably don't know that, but I do. I have a blood disease that is called Spherocytosis. Sphere like a sphere, like SPH, like a ball. It is a inherited blood disease, a hereditary inherited. I did inherit it, but I guess it would be called hereditary blood disorder that I got from my mom. They found it when I was like 3-ish years old. I had a cold that I couldn't seem to shake. This is the story as was told to be by my mother my whole life. I couldn't seem to get over this cold. And after the doctor's visits and after the medicines and after the things, it just wasn't going away. And so they ended up referring me to a children's hospital in Atlanta many years ago. And they checked my blood and they were like, oh, she has spherocytosis. My mom's like, what's that? And they're like, well, your blood cells, like a regular person's blood cells, are supposed to be shaped kind of like donuts in that they're like concave in the center, not a full hole, but like kind of concave. Instead, mine are shaped like spheres. They're round. They don't have that concave shape. So when they go through my spleen, just like everybody else's does, they go through your spleen as a part of your like immunity filtration system. My spleen's like, what's this? This isn't shaped properly. And it breaks them down in a more rapid fashion than it would a regular person's. So the average healthy woman's hemoglobin level, which is the main thing that is tested when you have a blood disorder, is supposed to be between the ranges of 12 and 15. Mine generally hangs out in the 9s. A good day is a 10. And that's just where I'm at. Apparently that means that I am lower energy. Basically it's anemia. And I have lower energy than the normal person. It takes me longer to get over even the common cold or things like that than the common person. So they tell me I don't know any different because it's been my story my whole life.
Yeah. So your spleen's doing its job, but by trying to catch things that aren't supposed to be there, which means you're just constantly trying to reproduce more blood cells and you can't keep up. But your mom didn't know she had that until you got diagnosed, right?
Yeah, my mom lived her whole life until this would have been her early 30s when they diagnosed me. She just didn't know. She'd gone to doctors. She'd experienced many of the same things I had. Fainting, taking longer to get well, easy bruising, just multiple things over the years. And doctors just kept saying, you need more iron, you need more iron, you need more iron. And iron actually doesn't help this particular blood disease. Folic acid is the only like supplement that you can take that helps, which I do take every day religiously. I take it. So they ended up doing surgery pretty much right away on my mom. She had an enlarged spleen and an enlarged gallbladder. And so she went in and had both of those removed at the same time. That was many years ago. So she has this like giant half moon shaped scar all the way across her stomach. And so she's good. I mean, it's just a thing that she survives with, and I'm good. It's just a thing that I survive with. And for all intents purposes, I am good. I mean, I am. I'm healthy. I exercise. I do my best to take care of myself. And that's where I think the trouble comes in. The reason I said it's like timely that we talk about this is I'm on the recovery mode of a really hard week. Last week was like the culmination of hard. The things that I know I need to do to take care of myself are the things that we all really need to do to take care of ourselves. Get good sleep, get enough sleep, drink water, drink enough water, eat healthy foods that bless your body, and just be mindful. For me, I need to be a little more mindful. When I can't overdo it. I will crash and it will take me longer to get over something. And I wasn't doing my best at doing the things. Had a few really hard workout days where I probably should not have. Was also leading into my cycle. And I know, especially as I've gotten older, when I am getting ready to have my period, my body that's a lot. It's just a lot. I don't know why. This is what I personally experience. It feels like it's a lot for my body. I'm already at a lower level. I'm not functioning on full energy. And now my body needs to do this extra thing.
Yeah. My joke is you don't have enough blood to give up any.
Yeah,
so
it's true. So,
but when you're up is most people's average, if not low. So when you start to go down in any aspect, you go down hard.
It's true. And I'm down hard. Happened. And that's what happened. And then Sienna had a little cold that she brought home, and I got the cold, and I went down. I went down hard. It was Saturday a week ago that I knew I wasn't feeling. I knew I was running on lower. And it's a very thin line between you shouldn't exercise and a little bit of activity will energize you and help you feel good. And I knew I was on that thin line, and I told myself that we were going to go to our Saturday morning workout. I love it. I get energy from that, from the people, from the workout. I do love it, but I was going to scale the workout and just not go full on. I was going to give myself the buffer that it needed. Then we get there and it ends up being like a partner workout, and you don't want to let your partner down and you don't want to be the last man standing. And it wasn't really a very easily scaled situation. I probably should have just opted out of it, but I did not. Instead of scaling, I went like full on beast mode because my partner was a beast.
Right. Yeah, you went opposite of scaled.
I went opposite of scaled, and I overdid it. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I just was not well. And it took me a week to recover. And that's such a poopy situation, because here's the thing. I don't look sick, and I'm not sick. I don't like saying the word sick because I'm not sick. I'm not well. I'm running on low. Like, I don't want to call it a flare up because people say that and they're talking about fibromyalgia or something like that, or RA. And I don't have that. I don't know what it is, but I don't know the right words. I'm working with that. If you got a suggestion, hit me up in my socials. I'd love to hear it, but it's not sick. So, and I don't look sick. That's the other thing. If you see a person and they have a cast on their arm, clearly their arm is broken, and you're like, oh, let me get the door for you. Like, it's acceptable for you to take it easy or dial it down because you have a broken arm. But when they look at me, I just, for the most part, look regular, unless
you go to the nail salon.
Unless
then they let you know.
That's true. Unless you go to the nail salon, because a defining characteristic is jaundice, which is like yellowing, and I will start to really look yellow in my eyes. I'm super freaking pale anyway, so the whites of my eyes will start to look yellow, and I go get a pedicure during that week because I was so down. And as I started to feel a little better toward the end of the week, I was like, let me get out of the house and a pedicure will feel good. And she's like, why are you yellow? She's like doing my toes. She's like, why do your toes look yellow? And I was like, oh, it's probably just the polish. And she's like, no, all your skin looks yellow. You're yellow. And I was like,
why are you yellow?
Yeah. She's like, why are you yellow? And I was like, yes, I am yellow. It's hard to explain why I'm yellow, but it's a thing. But for the most part, I don't look any different. And so I feel like such a schmuck. I was going to say schmuck. I don't know when I say like, I'm not well. People are like, well, what does that mean? Do you have a cold? Do you have the flu? What's going on?
Nah, you're just kind of tired.
Yeah, I'm just tired. And so when I say I was knocked down last week, we're not talking just tired. Like I am a slug. Like I don't have it. I want to will myself to get up. Like I want to do the things, but I do not have the energy. And then it starts to set in. I feel guilty, like I'm letting my family down. It was the weekend where we normally do our chores and we do our food prep and we get ready for the week ahead and we do a little fun. And I am like toast. I'm on the couch. Jason and Sienna are in the kitchen doing the food prep and still doing the things to prepare us. And I can't help them. I can like take a shower and then rest and then get dressed and then rest. And then I can make it to the couch. And that's pretty much the extent of what I could do for a couple days. And then it took the rest of the week to just get back up to normal speed. And I'm going to be honest and tell you, I hate it. I don't have any patience for it. I feel guilty. I feel like I'm letting them down. I feel like people can't possibly understand, and they really can't. If you haven't experienced that or something like that, it's the hardest thing to explain to someone. Yeah, I'm just really run down. Like, yeah, that's the best way I can say it, but it's not like a thing that I did to myself. It's my normal. And it's, I don't know. I carry a lot. Like I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy being forced to slow down. I feel guilty because the to-do list is still there and then things are piling up and I'm not getting to it. And I feel like it must be frustrating to Jason. And then it starts to make me sad. And then I'm sitting on the couch and it's this like cycle of, I'm mad, but I don't feel good. I don't have the energy and maybe I should just do it and da. So I guess that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. One, I wanted to share it with you guys and just let you know that this is what I'm going through. This is what I deal with. And maybe you've had the same thing. Maybe you have something similar, not my blood disease, but something like that where people can't see it, but you have to slow down from time to time and it's frustrating to you and you probably feel guilty and you feel alone and you can even feel sad in those times. And I'm telling you all those things that are running through my head of beating myself up about the to-do list and my family and like I'm letting them down and they must think I'm a jerk and they're waiting on me and bringing me dinner and it's so hard. So one, if you've ever walked through anything like this, you're not alone. Those emotions are normal, I think, or you and I have them together. And then I want to hear your take on it. I'm telling you how I feel about it, but what is going through your mind? How do you feel about it, Jason?
Well, for me, it's more frustrating when you realize that you're kind of on the downturn and then you don't rest because that's just going to prolong it. So it's actually kind of touches on the topic we were going to talk about. So just having the discipline of having that awareness and taking the time off or putting in the self-care because it's for, the longer term wellness. And it doesn't matter. Like if you need to tap out of food prep for a weekend, that's going to be more beneficial overall and help everybody, especially you, but it helps the whole family if you take a little bit of time so that you're more well in general.
Which I think is just important for us to remember, whether you struggle with something like this or you don't. I think we all push ourselves to our limits and even past our limits sometimes because it's got to get done. It's got to get done on time. We've got to do these things. And the truth is, if you would just stop and take a little rest, maybe that means a short nap, an afternoon off, whatever that looks like, when you come back to that list or that thing or that task, whatever, and you're ready to attack it, you're going to be more productive. You're going to get it done faster because you have more energy. It's not going to take as long. You're going to be more clear in the mind and it's going to happen. But I'm guilty of it and I guarantee you are too. Just pushing. It's got to get done. It's got to get done. And at what cost?
Right. I mean, it applies in different areas. So at work, it's going to pushing and trying to meet every deadline, or whether that's self-imposed or otherwise, and saying, I've got to work all these extra hours because whatever reasons you come up with, and that's just going to lead to burnout. So yes, you could do it in the short term, but it's not healthy mentally or physically in the long run. Or if you have a physical injury, you have to recover before you can advance. So think about people at the gym, they're nursing some shoulder pains and issues for weeks and months at a time because they might lack the discipline of resting. So, or actually like figure out what it is. So they're going to, if they would rest for a few weeks and get healthy, then they would be able to realize some gains after that. But, that goes back to that discipline. And then I think the other key thing is that mental aspect and the guilt and just having that awareness of this isn't being lazy or whatever, it's discipline. I'm being disciplined by taking a nap. And if you can reframe that, I think that'll go a long ways.
That's a good point. I'm a constant work in progress on the reframing front. I have a blood disease. It is who I am. It's not going away. There's not a treatment for it. There's not a cure. It's just a part of me. In so many ways, I am still blessed. And I have to remember that. And I do remember that. I also will be honest and tell you I struggle with that because I'm like, well, that's really just this small little thing. And there's so many people out in the world that are battling much worse. They are in the hospital undergoing cancer treatments or had a brain aneurysm or fighting double pneumonia or whatever that thing may be. And so I hesitate to talk about it sometimes because I'm like, there's always someone worse. And that's true. There is always someone worse, but there's also always someone better. And it doesn't matter because it's your story. And this is my story. I have a blood disease that affects my everyday. I have to be conscious of it. I'm a work in progress, learning to reframe that and listen to my body. When I need a nap, I need a nap. And that's not an a-hole thing to do. That is okay. As long as I'm using it the right way. You're really listening. I'm not hiding from the world or procrastinating. I just need rest. And I'll come back better and I'll recharge it. I'll tell you a thing that I learned. I'm learning that through therapy was just that taking a nap is not a sign of a slug or taking a rest or stepping away. It's okay. And you will come back better and with more energy and more refreshed and a clearer brain to do whatever the tasks at hand are. Another thing that helps me is just focusing on gratitude when I have to rest and I'm sitting there, because I'll tell you, this was a rough week. It's very likely not going to be my last rough week. Like I've had many rough weeks before, even with the best of intentions and even with me being more mindful and even with me working on my self-care and constantly improving, a cold will set me back. And I can't do anything about that. So when those moments come, being ready for them and focusing on the gratitude that I have a loving and accepting family, that they're able to do the food prep and they don't mind. And I am, even though I'm dealing with this, I'm not in the hospital or whatever it is. It's very hard to have a sad and grumpy heart and a grateful heart at the same time. I would argue that you can't. So focusing on reframing it and focusing on the gratitude and know that this too will pass as long as you're resting. That's something I'm doing. And the last thing I'm doing is just, if you can identify some of the things that make matters worse, like I told you, my week leading into my cycle, if I need to work on putting major self-care practices into place that week, dialing down my workouts, getting a little more rest, and preparing my body for what I know is a hard few days for it. And so that's new. That realization is new. Figuring out what that means is in process, and that will be ever evolving, but just what are those things that trigger you? Where do you need to slow down? Where can you be conscious about it? And just keep working. It's hard. I'm feeling better this week, but it's not like better. Like it is it's usually a gradual down. The down seems a lot faster than the up.
Not so gradual down, I don't think. You usually crash.
I usually hit a wall pretty quickly and I'm all done. The
We
up,
can see it coming. We're getting better at seeing it coming, I think.
that's true. The up is not like, whoop, all right, tomorrow I feel great. As much as I will it so in my mind, it's not true. It's uphill. It is a uphill climb to get back to the top. And so I'm working on patience and remembering that all those things that I'm telling myself in my mind are not true. They don't feel that way. They love me. They understand. And all I really need to understand is Jason and Sienna. What the rest of the world thinks or does is not my business. So I just need to know that they know what's going on.
Yeah, even the nail lady, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Why you're yellow.
Even the nail lady wondering why I'm yellow doesn't really matter. It's about us and taking care of ourselves. So
Yeah. I'm sure some people are curious, but Sienna does not have this, so she did not inherit that disease, so that was good.
yeah, that's a great blessing for her. I mean, Jason is super healthy. He doesn't have anything that he deals with. As a matter of fact, he gave blood during last week when I was down and out, which I'm very grateful for because I have needed those transfusions before. And this clown goes in and his hemoglobin was what?
I think this time was like 15.9.
Right. That's a magical, mythical unicorn number in my world. I've never seen such a thing, but that's a blessing. And I'm grateful. I need people like him and people like you who can give blood because people like us need it sometimes. And like he said, it was a blessing that Sienna was not born with it. We checked her as soon as she was old enough and she's not. So she's all good up in her hood. Something might happen at a later date in her life, but right now things are good. And right now and forevermore, I have spherocytosis and I am continually working to figure that out, even though I've had it my whole life. We are evolving and changing. So if you have something that people can't see and you're dealing with it, I hope that this was encouraging to you to know that you're not alone. Many of those feelings you feel, I'm feeling them too, girlfriend. And we're just going to keep working on managing our mindset and getting through it together. All right. I hope this was helpful. Jason, thanks for rolling with the punches of a changed up episode and telling us how you really feel.
Yep. I guess we'll come back to that one some other time.
Oh, yeah. I guess we will come back to that episode some other time. All right. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.